week's Torah portion is called Parshaht Mishpatim. Mishpatim means laws, and it makes sense. And almost an entire portion of laws, it follows after last week's Torah portion, Parshaht Yitro, which was almost entirely about the giving of the Torah. Okay, but there's a question. What's the first law? The first law is to be a Jewish slave. What's a Jewish slave? Right? It's about a person who stole, was arrested, couldn't repay the debt, and he was sold by the rabbinical court until he could pay back the money. Why is that the first law? So some people want to say that the whole portion of the giving of the Torah, that the God called us a nation of priests, a holy nation, okay, and a person shouldn't forget that the abyss is always open in front of them. A person can fall, he can get involved in the desires of the world, he can even steal, okay, and so that's why the first mitzvah is about Eved Ivri, Jewish slave. But Hasidus says, the Lubavitcher Rebbe writes in one of his talks, no, the whole idea of a Jewish slave is that after the giving of the Torah, each Jewish person has to realize that his life he's a slave to Hashem, and a slave to a king is like the king themselves, but he's like a slave to God. Okay, and what does it mean to be a slave? God, you know what? Being a slave doesn't mean only that you have a master. Being a slave could also be your slave to the world, to the desires of the world, to the ups and downs of the world, so a Jewish person has to remember, right? Who am I a slave to? I'm a slave to God, okay? And that's why the verse continues, that if a slave says that I love my master, I love the wife that you gave me, I love the children that I had when I was your slave, and I don't want to go free, they take him to a doorpost and they drill a hole in his ear. Why are drilling a hole in his ear? For what? Why? Because they want to say that ear, that heard, that you were a slave to Hashem in Mount Sinai, you didn't listen. Okay, that's the mission. That's the mission for each of us. Who are we slaves to? We're slaves to Hashem. Our pleasures in the world have to come from spiritual things. The world is something that is secondary. Okay, and when a person remembers that I'm an Eved Ivri, I'm a slave to Hashem, that's when they really receive the Torah. Shabbat Shalom.